I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, I pray to you tonight that we can meet tonight to do the city business and keep our focus on what's best for our community. Please keep in mind all of our servicemen and women around the world and keep them safe. I pray to you tonight. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call.
Councilmember Grijalva? Councilmember Soto?
Here.
Councilmember Shelton?
Present.
Councilmember Hewish?
Here.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Here.
Councilmember Morales? Present. Mayor Rivas?
Present.
City Manager Jerry Watson? Present. City Attorney Juan Pablo Flores?
Present.
City Treasurer Mr. Rosa? Mr. Mayor, for the record, Councilmember Grijalva will be able to link the right one.
Thank you so much. Item number 5, presentation of awards. Do we have any of the winners here? Okay, Mr. Tiffany. We have 3. First place, American Legion Riders. Okay, you can step forward so we can recognize you. Second place, we have Cochise Shrine Club. Here, third place, Tata Rubens Kettle Corn. Well, congratulations to those. And you don't have to be short in here. So I'm going to skip the Wall of Faces recognition. We're going to jump into the local businesses. For that, we have Double H. They're not here.
Actually, Mayor, we're going to move that one to next month, if that's okay.
Okay.
If I may say something about this?
Yes, absolutely, Mrs. Morales.
Okay. Mr. Shelton and I had our first town hall meeting back in May, and one of the ideas that was brought up is that we recognize our businesses that have been here for a long time. And I've been working, and now thanks to Damien, he's been helping me. We're going to celebrate milestones of all the businesses in Douglas. So people will be contacting businesses. We want to know when you're going to celebrate your 5, your 10, 15, 20, 25-year anniversary. So this will be the first night that we do some presentations. These 4 Double H celebrated 40 years this year. Two Flags celebrated 15 years. Son País celebrated 5 years, and Elizabeth Fagan Insurance celebrated 47 years. But I did want to recognize them because they have been here for 47 years. So that is why we have these certificates to present to them tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Morales. And for that, we have Mrs. Morales, who came up along with Mr. Councilman Shelton with the idea of recognizing these organizations. So if we can have 2 flags, Mrs. Bowen and Diffie step forward to be recognized for both council members who spirited this. Congratulations, Mrs. Diffie. So, oh, and Ms. Fagan from Buddy Williams. Okay, Ms. Williams, you can step forward as well. Can we hear from Mr. Shelton, Councilman Shelton as well?
You guys won't hear me floating too, so it's not cutting you off in half. Mr. Shelton, keep pushing that. Show me your certificate, please. All right, here. One more. Good, thank you.
And one thing to add, I think we're
Item number 6, presentation/discussion by Economic and Community Director David Carranza concerning the American Legion Post-11 100-year celebration. For that, we have Mr. David Carranza.
Mr. Mayor, this is a point of order. Please also have flags to be presented to the wall papers too.
Mr. Carranza, floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Mayor and council members. Before I set the stage with Mr. Paul here with the American Legion, I've been an American Legion member since I got here in Douglas several years ago. Let me just bring a little note to everyone's attention. What happened way back in 1919 when the American Legion first got started. We had you guys like this, prohibition was ratified in 1919. Congress also formed the Grand Canyon, which is really important in 1919. And on August 1st, 1919, the American Legion was formed here in Douglas, Arizona. I think that's good to know. And during that same period of time in 1919, we had some formidable characters that were running around, Hitler and Pancho Villa. So there's a lot of things that happened back in 1919. So I'll always need to remember that for the history. One of the things that I think that all of you know is that these guys now have been around for 100 years. They're going to celebrate this on September 6th. Can I just tell them a little bit what's going to happen?
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm Les Pollard. I'm the service officer of the American Legion, Post-11 in Douglas. We are celebrating our 100th year in conjunction with the National American Legion of the United States of America, 100 years. Post-11 has been in Douglas for 100 years. So we're both, and first of all, we want to thank you guys for allowing us to put on our community event for the community. It's open to the community as well as all veterans. And once again, we want to thank you for that. And something else that came up new is maybe some of you guys might have nephews, nieces that are currently serving in the military. Just this past week, the American Legion is now open to all military people. You don't have to be in like when I qualified, we had to be in some kind of conflict certified by the United States government, but now it is open to any veteran that served in the military can now join the American Legion. This act passed this past week. It was signed into law by the President of the United States. Yeah, we have. I'll let you. I'll let you go.
Thanks. Basically, what they have, beginning on September 6th and September 7th, when I was talking to Scotty, I said, thank you very much, Scotty. We'll celebrate my birthday on the 7th. But we're going to have a variety of music, live bands, poker run vendors. We're going to have a kids zone there, a beer garden. We're going to have a band that's not too far from here. They're called President's Nightlife on September 6th. There's going to be a steak and dinner dance. The dance in dinner, you're going to have ribeye steaks, baked potatoes. If you ever eat at the American Legion, you got to eat there. It's some good food. The other thing, beans and salad roll for $13, and you can dance to your heart's content until 12. So, good event, folks. And then on the next day, which is the 7th, they're going to have a parade. They do have a parade forms so you can fill out. You go see Scotty at the American Legion, or Mr. Pollard and all his commanders that he has with him, and fill out one of the forms so you can actually be in the parade as well. Thank you very much for all of the mayor and council for actually supporting this event. I think it's going to be a great event for the city of Douglas.
Thank you. Mr. Shelton had a question or a comment.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 7, presentation discussion by Police Chief Bullen and Christine McLaughlin, Cochise County Planner, concerning the city's communication plan for annexation efforts, timeline, and preliminary findings on the initial study area. Am I too close to the microphone? No.
Good evening. Tonight I'm here to provide an annexation update. It's been a couple months since I last presented on this topic. Today's presentation will focus on some of our findings as we drill down to a parcel level analysis of our first study area, a communication plan, which is an important part really of any planning effort, and an implementation timeline. If you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me as I go along. These are kind of separate topics. There's a lot of information and I don't want to bother. At the July 10th meeting of the council, 3 large general areas were examined for annexation potential. Given the timing of the Bay Acres sewer project, it was awarded the highest prioritization by council. At the same time, given that annexations are intended to ease delivery of services and reduce the presence of county islands, there were some questions about a few conspicuous county islands. So we added these areas to our analysis. On this slide, I have identified Bay Acres in yellow, County Island 1 in blue, County Island 2 in purple, and County Island 3 in green. So 2 and 3 are kind of the south end of the city limit on the screen. On the next few slides, I'm going to zoom in to each sub-area, but I wanted to give you an idea of where these areas are in relation to the city boundaries, as well as their relationships to one another. This is Island 1. It contains only 9 parcels, which range in size from 0.09 acres to 11.49 acres. The city's police department building sits on one of these parcels. And in total, the city owns 4 parcels in this enclave, which I highlight in orange on the slide. I'll quickly remind everyone that in order for an area-wide annexation petition to pass, it must be signed by more than 1/2 of the value of real estate of real and personal property and more than 1/2 of the number of property owners in the territory to be annexed. In addition, the city-owned property is tax exempt, so you don't actually count on the petition. So where you have a property, and also when you have a property owner with more than 1 property in an area, that property owner only counts 1. Does that make sense to everybody? Those are kind of, what's going into this analysis. So in this area, while there are 9 parcels, there are 4 property owners, which means 2 property owners other than the city must sign the petition. I also include property values on this slide because you need more than 50%. The positives I see here in this area is that it has development potential because of the general business zoning. There's a lot of vacant land, there's good road access, and there's no flood hazards in the area. Are there any questions on this topic? Next, we listed Island 2. What's notable here again is the amount of city-owned property. City owns half the parcels, but again, for an area-wide petition to take effect, 2 additional property owners will need to agree to the annexation, given that there are 5 property owners in the area. There are some flood hazard areas, but again, there's general business zoning and some large vacant parcels. Finally, Area 3, which you can tell even by the aerial is different than the previous two areas. This is a more residential area with a lot of small parcels. In total, there are 44 property owners. Looking at the addresses of property owners, over a quarter of the parcels had non-Douglas addresses associated with them. This indicates rental or investment property and impacts how signatures are collected. If you go to door, you're not going to find the property owners in any circumstances. Also, all parcels are considered to be in flood hazard area. This is a low-lying area in general, which negatively impacts redevelopment potential in the area, as well as property value. So those are the three county islands. It was kind of worth taking a look at. They're very contiguous. So moving on.
Excuse me, could you please, on the item number 3, can you give me the south street?
At the very south, that's the International.
That's
the
little down
boundary
the
of
block.
the US, yeah. Next, looking at the Bay Acres. On this slide, Bay Acres is subdivided into 3 areas. The blue area is subject to the water wastewater agreement. The green area is directly west of the area and adjacent, and it is directly adjacent to the city. When we spoke last, we combined these 2 areas into the Bay Acres sub-area to meet the size, shape, and contiguity requirements from the state for annexation. I've added an additional area, colored yellow, in this graphic for consideration. If you combine together, the eastern boundary generally follows the right-of-way for North Lincoln Avenue. That's where it's off on the eastern side, which makes it easy to define in legal description and seems to at least visually make sense. This area is 830 acres. There's 615 property owners. And again, there are issues of flooding and a significant amount of rental property. And on this slide, I kind of zoom in. These are where the flood hazard, like zone flood hazard areas are, which is indicated in blue on the slide. So that's kind of parcel analysis. Do we have any other questions about that or any comments? Moving on, it's important to get the right information out there from the start.
If I could just make a quick comment. I'm not sure if we ran out of colored ink, but I would appreciate a colored copy sometime to follow up and look at it.
And I can email that.
Perfect, that works.
Great. So I say, unfortunately, as a city, you have a lot of tools at your disposal. The first is what we're doing tonight.
Excuse me, Ms. Murdock, I'd like also a copy of the code.
Absolutely, every policy.
We're doing it right now.
Yes. Providing regular updates to the elected officials is a big part of the strategy. And who better to understand the needs of the community? These are public, televised events that reach a lot of people. We've also developed a couple brochures, which I'll feature on the next couple slides. More on those in a minute. Community meetings and/or attending any meetings for neighborhood groups is important. These type of meetings allow one-on-one interaction with residents. Holding one of these meetings early in the process could give us a better sense of how property owners would respond to an annexation petition. It is recommended. Next, the city publishes newsletters. There's obviously a website. You contribute to social media. We intend to use these existing platforms to include informational articles, frequently asked questions, provide contact information, as well as meeting dates. We also anticipate conducting informal surveys via the website and/or by direct mail. I just mentioned a couple brochures. I've included them on the next few slides, not for the purpose of reading them out loud, but to indicate the information we want to provide to the public. We use the brochure format because it can fit a lot of information in a small space. It's easily digestible, inexpensive to mail, and simple to include on the website. On this slide, I'm featuring more general annexation informational guide brochure. I've included contact information and a small handful of frequently asked questions. On the other side of the brochure, we get into defining annexation and the general benefits an applicant could expect following annexation. So that's one brochure, that's the more general one. The second brochure is centered on the pros and cons of annexation. There's about 17 commonly asked questions included. On this page, we discuss everything from home-based businesses to having a voice in local issues. This is the flip side of the brochure. Everything from property tax impacts to street maintenance to garbage service is discussed. The idea is now that the information has been assembled, we can distribute it in this format. We can also kind of copy and paste it to meeting boards, website, newsletters as needed. Moving on, during the last meeting, I quickly walked you through the steps required to annex. There's a lot of steps, and it can be hard to visualize without a schedule, so I've included one here. This is a fairly aggressive schedule in terms of annexation, at least. What tends to push these annexations out is the signature collection portion on the schedule. That's the very last bar at the bottom in purple. For this schedule, I've assumed a 45-day collection period for signatures, but it could range anywhere from 1 to 365 days from that point out. It cannot go beyond 365 days or the petition fails. There are certain events, such as advertising for readings, and there's a 30-day waiting period. Mostly what this demonstrates is what steps are required, approximately how they occur, and when. But you can expect annexation takes at least 3 to 4 months when you factor in all the required steps listed on this page. And with that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions, pieces of informational items, but I really welcome any answers.
I'd like to thank you for all the work you've done into this. And once again, I think for Douglas to go forward, I think we need to hopefully, get this done. So, and thank you for the color copy.
Any other comments? I do have a question though.
If I may, are you to the point of the cost-benefit financial analysis in the city's point of view?
That typically comes more when you do the planning, the service plan that's associated with the actual ordinance. This is more looking at how many parcels do we have, how many signatures do we need. So that's actually a little more.
I personally would love to have at least a rough one before we even pursued an area. If we feel we're going to get $200,000 benefit from it, but it's going to cost us $750,000, then I think we need to discuss that.
Any other comments?
Mayor, there was a comment earlier today from one of the council. I had made sure that Christine could come prepared so she could answer that question. The question was about the size of annexation and if we can narrow it if the cost benefit doesn't pan out. And so I'd like her to speak to the state law on that and what we can and cannot do.
Yes. Basically, in this, while the question was more on the port of entry, it applies to any of the large areas we're looking at. As long as you fulfill the size, shape, and contiguity requirements that the state mandates, which is it has to join the boundary by 300 feet. It has to be at least 200 feet wide. And it has to be no more, it can't be more than twice the length of its width. So in general, the issue with the port of entry is it's 4 miles west. So if you have something that's 4 miles west, generally speaking, you need to go 2 miles north. So that's kind of how we arrived at the previous depiction that we showed. You can eliminate some parcels if you go along, as long as you're still adjoining your boundaries and you're still meeting all the other requirements. You could potentially narrow down a little bit, but overall, it's going to be a very large area.
And then, Mr. Mayor, I asked our finance director, Luis Pedrosa, if he would also respond to that from the financial side.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I
I think part of the question was whether we should allow annexation or services to only the areas that we annex. And I think that that language is important because we certainly do not want to provide or overextend the city services and costs to areas that may not be annexed, and those costs may fall under the shoulders of our own citizens and residents. When we're talking, if we need to issue debt, we need to back it up or pledge resources within our own existing revenue. So I think that there should be some flexibility there in us continuing to issue to provide those services, but also give the city the ability to have that flexibility to say we do need to issue these services to those areas that are going to be annexed, to the areas that will become part of the city. And the other thing that Mr. Pierce was talking about, the cost-benefit analysis, is we do need to look at the parcels, the assessed valuation, and the return on the city, and how those property taxes will go towards the maintenance and for city services such as police and fire and different general government services that we provide. When we're talking utility infrastructure such as water and sewer, that also needs to be calculated, but under a different spectrum, because those are enterprise funds and they need to be self-sustaining through the form of user fees, impact fees, development fees. All of those things need to be able to pay for that infrastructure.
Thank you. I noticed here that the file ordinance with BOS is on March 15, 2020, if we drafted everything right smoothly. I suppose that we won't be in time for the 2020 census, correct, for that area to be full residency counted.
With a schedule like this, honestly, it's easier to work back from the date to where we are now. It would be difficult to meet this.
Mayor, but I think it would still be positive for us because we wouldn't have to have the effort of trying to reach out to these people that count them, and then we'll just, after the census is there and we annex them, then we have the numbers right at our fingertip, and we can be able to just petition state to add them into us. True. So I think that would be beneficial to us in a way.
And I'd like to add that for state share revenue calculation purposes, those numbers get recalculated every year. So taking annexation into account, we'll send that to the state, let them know the numbers, and we'll be at least on the state side, on the state share revenue side.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. McLaughlin. Appreciate it. Up next, item number 8, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1357, resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, establishing annexation policy for the city of Douglas. Mr. Flores.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This is a general policy, more or less a requirement for our process of annexation. It is a very general document. It basically talks about the same things that Mr. Pedrosa talked about, priorities in annexation, services going out to areas that are going to be annexed, planning various services such as wastewater, sewer, fire, police, and taking into account the general plan as well as the growth areas. But basically, it's a general policy, I think, that is is needed to proceed with the process, with the annexation process. And if you'll notice, it's very general in nature, there's a lot of general concepts. And all makes sense within the confines of the general plan and the growth areas within our general plan. It also takes into account that we're going to be modifying our general plan, and we're going to come together in a way that makes reasonable sense for local growth and delivery of service. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any comments from Mr. Flores?
I don't know if you want a motion first, but I do have some questions.
So this is an, let's have a motion on the floor. May I have a motion to approve?
Mayor,
Mr. Lindenman?
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1357.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Motion by Councilmember Lindenman, second by Councilmember Morales. Mr. Hewish?
I had a question about section 5, and I'll give you a couple of seconds so we can get there. Okay. The concern I had is that if this would in any way box us in or tie our hands, if we needed to extend the necessary utilities out to the proposed new commercial port of entry, if for some reason the annexation was hung up for whatever reason, because that section, the way I read it, says that it has to be completely annexed before we can extend those services. And I know section 10 allows for a little bit of wiggle room, but I just want to make sure that we don't have any potentially adverse situations that affecting the momentum of this new commercial port of entry.
Thank you, Mr. Hewish, members of council. Relative to that, the concept that is outlined in section 5, where it talks about, in general terms, what the goals, the hopes and wishes are of the annexation policy, I don't believe it's going to curtail us or tie our hands in reference to the port of entry, because that's first of all, that's a work in progress, and we haven't quite decided how various services are going to be delivered out there to the new port facility. So to give you an answer to a long question, basically this policy is general in nature, and it will not constrict how the services are delivered to the port of entry, and there's always room for modification. And as you can see from the way that the project is going, it's going to be a long way until we define all of those different things. So between now and then, there's going to be a lot more meetings, a lot more definition that's going to take place precisely as to how the city is going to deliver. So it's too early to make determination that this policy is going to hinder our expectations of growth out there.
Thank you, but if I may expound a little bit more, I just don't want it to get in the way, and that's the only reason. If I know we have a lot of hurdles to still go over, but if the stars continue to align, and for whatever reason they tell us 2022, in January we want to start the project, and we need your stuff done by the middle of 2023. And we say, gosh, I don't know if we get the annexation done in time, and et cetera, and we actually need those full 18 months to start running it out there. I just would want to come back and have that stumbling block, and it's fine. I understand that it's a working document. We can always come back and change things. I just don't want it to get in the way in any way, shape, or form. So I'm satisfied if Mr. Flores is comfortable with.
I think in terms of the time frame and the overall objective of the the project in terms of annexation and the port of entry. I don't think this is gonna be any form of impediment on a long-term basis.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Any other comments?
I have one comment. I know some people that they own land right up against Douglas on the east side, and they want to be maybe included. So I need to maybe get with you, I'll show you where it's at. Okay?
Very well, let me help answer that question, Mr. Shelton. Like we had previously presented, still a work in progress. We're gonna come back to you with a very precise map.
Okay.
And at that point in time, you'll have enough time to see.
Okay.
If we can, we'll share with you beforehand, obviously during a study session or something along those lines, so we can iron out all of the various concerns, because you're not the only one that's had that same question. There's other, not only members of the council that have inquired as to what other areas can we annex or can we bring into the annexation, but there's been private citizens as well. So, there'll be plenty of opportunity for that.
Great. Very good.
Ms. McLaughlin, do you have anything to add with reference to the concept that we were talking about? In terms of whether a resolution is going to be independent?
No, I don't believe so, and I think in your email, section 10 of the resolution does give us some flexibility, because as it reads, the city reserves the right to deviate from this policy, and this is really just as it relates to annexation, so you can still deviate, and it should be.
Great questions by Council. Thank you. Thank you. Flores, thank you. So, roll call.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewitt?
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales? Yes. Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries. I want to take this time also to welcome Damian Dorame to the team. Congratulations. Damian is working at the city, and he's been an instrumental piece through our organization. So thank you for being here. I also want to give a huge shout out to Parks and all the staff. They planted roses in front of City Hall. I know they're not as what they used to look like, but they made an effort to try to improve the image. So thank you to Parks and staff.
Hopefully we've just begun.
Yes, right. Moving on to item number 9, persons wishing to address the council in writing or verbally on any item not on the agenda. For this particular item, I'm going to read the rules of decorum and rules of conduct. Will be followed by all calls of the public speakers. Each speaker will be given up to 3 minutes to speak. I will let you know when there are 30 seconds left to speak. I ask all speakers to observe all rules of decorum and good conduct. I will not allow any speaker to make personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks. I ask the audience to observe the same rules of decorum and good conduct, and no person shall interrupt the legislative proceedings. And with that being said, Mrs. Aguilar, do we have anyone that would like to address the council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have a request.
Mr. Douglas Wright.
Good evening, all. As you know, I have a business on Pan American Avenue here, and I'm very happy for the opportunity to be in business here in town. But I just don't understand this panel and its leader, the mayor, on how you guys can continue, lady, how you can continue to shoot yourself in the foot. 1 minute you're begging for businesses to come into this town, that you're raising sales tax on that business. You can say it's only $3 per month for the residents here in this town. What is it costing the residents of Agua Prieta on the other side? What's it costing El Frito residents? You guys are missing the whole point. You guys are inflating, nothing against you personally, inflating the administration here and putting the burden on the businessman and woman to collect for 5 of you who voted for the sales tax increase, but none of you were there to collect it. And I think it's just a shame how the city is being ran. You ask for more money from the businessman, and yet you're begging for business people to come in here. What a travesty we have here. The city employees, you're growing administration here, and you have an ice cream social for the existing employees. Boy, isn't that a damn good reason to keep them employed. Morale is low, very low. Productivity has to be down when morale is down. But you guys don't see the big picture. The guy there digging the ditch, he's the one that needs the raise. He's the one that needs the benefit. Not this puffed up administration. And I'm just saddened, and I will work my damnedest to change it, to bring this city to have all the business opportunities for everyone to enjoy in the city. But it's at the detriment of you guys. You guys are causing it. Mayor, I know where your socialist background, where you come from. And I understand that, and who your heroes are, the social activists of this country and of the Dominican Republic. But, on the other side, I'm very disappointed on the 5-2 vote from a businessman. You guys just don't see the big picture. And until this city goes bankrupt, you're just going to let it fall. Thank you.
Item number 10, discussion decision on approval of consent agenda items. May I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve consent agenda items as follows. Expenditures for the month of July 2019 totaling $1,713,863.25. Meeting minutes for June 12, 2019. Design Review Board reappointment Bill Wendt. Municipal Property Golf Course Corporation appointment David Arzate, retroactive to July 1st, 2019. Planning and Zoning Commission reappointment Bill Wendt. Transportation Advisory Committee reappointment Humberto Rivera. Appointment Mike Norman, Connie Gastelum, and Luis Pedrosa.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Morales, second by Councilmember Lippman. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, just wanted to add, I received a call from a citizen today and was asking the question whether or not relatives, spouses could serve on the same board. So I asked that question and received a response back that I'd like the public to know, is that it's not against city policy to appoint relatives to boards and commissions. And so that's where we sit at this point.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hirsch. Any other comments? Roll call.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewitt?
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 11, discussion decision on approval of G Avenue closure from 9th Street, 12th Street on October 12, 2019 from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the second annual Davis Merchants Fall Festival on October 12, 2019 from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And for that we have Mr. David Carranza and Mrs. Susan Kramer.
Mayor and Council, we're here tonight to discuss with you and actually share with you another event that's going to happen on G Avenue, calling it the G Avenue Street Fair. When I got here, we actually did a lot of good things with the merchants on G Avenue. We actually taught them a lot of marketing skills, got them a lot of marketing skills classes with the customer service. We also got the banks to come in here and help them as well. Last year, we're fortunate enough to have sidewalk sales. Now, this is morphed into a festival, which this is the second one this year. The other one was in spring. And for that, I'm going to have Susan Kramer talk about that. She's part of the Douglas Merchants Association. Remember that name. I think that's a good name they came up with. And the city is not as involved, but we are helping them along still with their efforts.
I'm the vice president of the Merchants Association. I did pivot to go as the president, and she prepared this little thing, but she's ill, so I'm going to read it. Mr. Mayor, the City Council, and others. We, the City of Douglas and the Douglas Merchants Association, will be celebrating the G Avenue Street Fair on Saturday, October 12th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. This will be our second event, the first one being in the spring, as Mr. Carranza said. And it's for Douglas and the surrounding areas, including Agua Prieta and the Valley, Bisbee, Tombstone, everybody else. Due to this event, it will become necessary to close G Avenue from 9th Street to 12th Street. Just G Avenue, and we are going to ask that 10th Street remain open so that traffic can flow through without irritating the community too much. The Douglas Merchants Association would like to extend an invitation to the mayor and the members of the City Council to come to our events. There's going to be entertainment. We've got a band scheduled to play, at least one. We have some other street performers in the works. We've got street vendors. Last time we had the Power Zone Gym put out equipment on the street, and they did demonstrations and showed people how to do things. We had several craft vendors. We had information booths. And like I said, the music entertainment is really good, so it should be a fun time, a chance to get people to come to Douglas. We are advertising in Tombstone, Benson, Wilcox, Bisbee, the Valley, by radio as well as in the press. So we're asking for your support, and we're asking that you allow us to close G Avenue for this event for the one day from 10 to 5.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Hewish?
Move that the mayor and council approve the street closure from 9th Street to 12th Street on G Avenue from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on October 12th, 2019 to allow the Douglas Area Downtown Merchants Association Fall Festival.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Shelton. And I'm not sure if the council would like to address you and Mr. Carranza.
May I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Is October 12th, Trump Day, or is that, so is that a Monday?
Monday's Columbus Day.
Native American Day.
Oh, okay, but I mean, is October 12th, is that the Monday? Oh, good, because.
The 12th is Saturday.
Oh, it is Saturday.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
Saturday.
I thought it was good. Well, I was gonna say, that the schools are out, everybody can come down. Okay.
Get a bucket of gold.
Maybe you get some dancers, Indian dancers.
We might, if we
that's
can get
a
anyone to
positive.
reply, yeah.
Susan is trying real hard to get some of the people to go to the Fourth Street Fair in Tucson to come here too. So she's not only getting people around here, she's getting people from all over, so it's good.
Did you mention Terra Vista too, Ms. Kramer?
Yeah, we have reached out to Sierra. Anybody, we've actually gone as far as Tucson and Phoenix to try and just to get people aware that we're down here and we're going to do something fun. So bring your people and enjoy.
Just put it on Facebook too.
Yes, it's been on Facebook.
Ms. Kramer, I just want to thank you and Mrs. Pedrero. You all have taken the lead on reactivating G Avenue, and this is not an I or a council. This is a team effort, and you, along with Ms. Pedrero, have done exactly just that. And I am incredibly proud of the leadership that you've established here. So I couldn't support you more. Council, I hope that they will be there as well. I'm sure that they will. But I really want to express my gratitude because it's not easy. You've been in business. I've been in business on G Avenue, and I commend your consistency and your way of saying, look, we're not going to give up. And congratulations. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. There are other people who have been involved as well, but thank you, and I will let them know what you said.
There's one out there.
That's right.
Yes, Ms. Dipsy as well. I know she's on the side. You've been an integral part of our community, so my respect to Ms. Dipsy as well. Roll call.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewitt?
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Item number 12, discussion decisions on approval of third reading of ordinance number 19-1112, an ordinance of the Mayor and Council of the City of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, confirming established building permit and inspection fees, and establishing new inspection and related fees for the City of Douglas Public Works Department, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. And for that, we have Mr. Pedrosa, our Finance Director.
Good evening once again, Mayor, members of council. According to the third reading of the development fee restructuring, as mentioned before, we are not charging for a lot of the services that we are providing as other cities do, and to recover the cost in issuing those services. Before you is a list of the different new fees that will be that we are proposing to implement. I'll try to go by them quickly. Just let me know of any questions or anything that needs clarification for the view of the public. We will be adding a non-refundable filing fee in accordance to the cost of the permit. We will be increasing the calculation for new signage permits, increasing the zoning fees from $15 to $20. We're currently we do not have certificate of occupancy fees when we issue those, and we don't charge for maps, so we will be adding those charges, and adding a lot of right-of-way fees, which did not exist for trenching, working without a permit as well. We do not have any enforcement when that is done. Non-construction right-of-way, whenever they have to use the right-of-way for any line checks or anything like that. Subdivision phase, if we ever do any subdivisions. Driveways, we do a lot of inspections for driveways. Currently not charging for those. Private road access, if ever we come across those, not that we have anything right now, but it's good to have those. Power poles, the removal of illegal signs, street address certifications. We will be creating a commercial plumbing inspection fee and increasing the existing residential one from $29 to $65 to $45. The electrical as well, doing a commercial one and increasing the residential by $1. Adding any mechanical inspections such as HVAC units, solar, re-roofing as well, paving permits, and demolition permits. Demolition, although it seems that we're just demolishing the structure, we gotta make sure that there's asbestos or any those types of agents that could be harmful to the environment. We're also increasing the inspection for any other type of inspection outside of normal hours from $47 to $50. Just some also housekeeping, fixing the code. There was just some language there that was not correct. We're just making those fixes. And recording existing fees already charged, we're actually implementing it into this title and just memorializing them there. No changes in those fees. With that said, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Make a motion to approve.
Mayor, I move that the mayor and council approve the third reading ordinance number 19-1112 by number and title only.
Motion by Councilmember Lindemann, second by Councilmember Morales. Mr. Lewis, do you have a question? Any council members?
What is removal of illegal signs? Like an example.
The removal of an illegal sign would be any signs posted in the right-of-ways. Those are currently not allowed. If we have to send somebody to remove those, we actually will be doing a process for that. We'll be sending them a warning letter, letting them know, hey, we have to take down this illegal sign. If it were to happen again, we can issue this fee.
Any other comments? Mr. Villas, I know this may sound redundant, but I just want you to provide some background as to what led us to be at this stage. I know that we're at the third reading, but the reason why these certain changes to our organization. In addition to that, I also, once this is approved, I want us to provide immediate information and like for us to put out a press release as to the changes that we are looking forward to implement here tonight. So if you could just summarize the reasoning behind it, how, when was the last time that the last time that some of these changes were implemented, and it's for the record, just for some people that haven't been at the council meeting.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, of course. The last time these fees were revised were about 9 years ago. The reason for looking at these is to prepare us for future development, so that the existing areas do not bear the brunt of all the costs of the services we will need to provide to future development. In addition to that, we are currently providing services, as I mentioned, that we are currently doing these inspections, re-inspections, re-inspections of different things, and we're really expending those resources without really getting our costs back. So basically, it's just getting those costs back and planning for future development, making sure that that development pays their fair share of what they're going to be building. And as we mentioned in previous meetings, we did extensive research on different cities, the county, and we're really squared away as one of the lowest, if not the lowest, in development fees in the state of Arizona. So basically, we did that comparison and also what works for the city as well. We didn't want to be, above the county either. We make sure that, we made it attractive for the city as well. So those are the reasons we looked at revising this title.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Villas. Roll call.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Putchett County, Arizona, confirming established building permit and inspection fees, and establishing new inspection and related fees for the city of Douglas Public Works Department, establishing severability of components of ordinance, and establishing an effective date thereof.
Item number 13, discussion decision on approval of third reading of ordinance number 19-1109, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Putchett County, Arizona, amending ordinances 718, 837, and 010, and adjusting fees for parks and recreation center facilities and programs in order to recover operating costs, establishing severability of components of ordinance, and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. Lewis, welcome back.
This is very similar to the last item, Title 12. We are updating the fee structure, and basically the same premise is cost recovery. We have not updated these fees since since the minimum wage used to be at $5.15, and as you know, we will be hitting the $12 mark on the minimum wage beginning in January. So it's safe to say that our costs to operate our recreation programs have increased by more than half, by more than 100%, I should say. There's also some fees that we looked at or some services again, that we weren't charging for the services we provided. We were recouping our costs. I'll go over those different items right now, and like I said, any questions, please feel free to stop me. We'll be adding a fee for any liquor permits that are issued. Currently, we don't charge for any liquor permits, and there's some administrative work that takes place when that's done. We're revising the recreation programs again to the cost recovery from $5 to $25 from $5 to $60. Eliminating family rates for the city recreation programs of $40 per family, and replace it instead for a more flexible due to the many services that we provide with a 50% discount for additional family members. Revising city recreation youth sports, adding that from 20 to 25 and 20 to 60. Eliminating family rates as well, and adding that 50% discount for the youth sports. Revising the city adult sports league as well, something that we discussed before. We currently are not offering that. We're letting those leagues operate through the community. Revised use of recreation rooms by agency from $20 to $35. Revising the recreation rooms by agency for nonprofits, doing the nonprofit rate for them from $10 to $20. Vendor booth spaces from $50 to $50 per day, and $10 per day for informational booths. Revising the Ramada use fees, and going back to how we came up with these fees, we looked at other cities, looked at our costs, many different analysis went into play, and from $5 to $15, this was still low compared to other cities. At the following new fees, portable stage. The use for the portable stage are bleachers and portable lights. We currently do not charge for the use of those services. The special event permit administration fee from $30 to $45, and as well the public assembly parade or public assembly from $30 to $40. The visitor center fees also are going up in accordance to our analysis. So there's various different fees, and we're established as well through the nonprofits, lower fees to the nonprofits, I should say. Those are listed there, and it just depends on the number of people that are attending the event. Eliminated the exemption on city-sponsored events and offered a discount instead, because that's still something that the public is using, but we still wanted to offer that discount. The swim fees also, just making those across the board equitable with the other passes. We didn't increase the passes, only the bulk passes. We thought were equitable with for the adults and senior citizens. The private party fees, we are implementing them into the title. We haven't done that, so we're actually bringing them or memorializing those into the title, and increasing the lifeguard costs from $10 to $15. Again, that's a minimum wage impact, along with employee-related costs, insurance, and things like that. We added it to $15. The racquetball punch pass, again for seniors, was just a little bit unequitable with the other passes.
adding a $50 permit fee to special events requested, within 14 days or less. Just basically, if those events require a lot of coordination within the department, and to ensure compliance, we make sure to add that $50 additional fee if the special event is requested within less than 14 days of the event. And also, currently, we do not charge for the electric use at our parks or profit agencies. So we make sure that we add some fees for those using the electric at any of our public facilities. With that, I'll take any questions.
Can I have a motion to approve?
Mayor, I move that Mayor and Council approve the third reading of ordinance number 19-1109 by number and title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Morales, second by Councilmember Lindemann. Ms. Shelton, you have a question?
Question, yes. Now, when we have the county fair, is that going to up their fees, any of these, that we
Not the
propose?
county fair.
Okay, because I know we do charge,
We charge a license fee,
right,
and that's not on city property. These are all fees that if we have an event on our property, we can charge those vendor booth fees. But since this is on their own property, but since they're within the city limits, we can charge a business license.
oh, okay. Now, there's several here I think might be a little too much. There's several of them, so I don't know. Well, I'd like to maybe take one at a time, but I know we don't have time tonight. So, that's my comment.
Mr. Mayor
Yeah.
and Mr. Sheldon, if you would like, we can let you know, most cities don't do 100% cost recovery of Parks and Rec. It usually ranges from 50% up to about 85% of actual cost. We can benchmark against some other cities and let you know what percentage we are at, if that would help. Or if there's specific fees you want to give us that we could, get more information on. But again, we went and did our homework with other cities and what others were charging, so we're not outside that at all.
Okay.
Any other comments on this item? Roll call.
Mr. Mayor, just for the record, Councilmember Grijalva has now arrived, and the time is 7:07.
Welcome back, Mr. Grijalva. Thank you. Welcome.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to go to the city attorney. Mr. Flores, should Councilmember Grijalva be included and disclosed as he is on the arrival and did not participate in the discussion?
Confuse myself.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, since he was not part of the discussion and also not part of the motion, why don't we have him recuse himself? And therefore, he doesn't have to leave the room, he just won't be voting, if that's okay with you, Mayor.
Yes.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
No.
Councilmember Kiyosh?
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries.
In order of the mayor and council of the city of Los Angeles County, Arizona, amending ordinances 718, 837, and 10-987, and assessing fees for parks and recreation center facilities and programs in order to recover operating costs, establishing severability of compliance of ordinance, and establishing an effective date thereof.
Item number 14, which I'm glad is the last reading because of all the numbers in this reading. It's on the third reading of ordinance number 19-1108, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of San Francisco, Cochise County, Arizona, to undertake a minor departmental reorganization affecting various departments along with city management in amending ordinance number 631, 673, 728, 848, 04-871, 09-954, 13-1027, 18-1086, and ordinance number 19-1104, establishing severability of components of ordinance, establishing an effective date. It wasn't that bad this time around. Mrs. Pedrosa, welcome back.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This is the third reading that we have for this ordinance. Due to the changes that were requested during the budget for fiscal year 1920, this reorganization was necessary because we had new positions, we had some reclassification, and we also had some classifications that are no longer needed because those positions have not been filled for a long time and they have been either done by other people or through other organizations. These were departments that this organization was affected by: support, economic development, housing, human resources, leisure services, management services, planning, police, public works, and administration. So if you guys have any questions,
May I have a motion to approve?
Mayor, I move that the mayor and council approve the third reading of ordinance number 19-1108 by number and title only with modifications as presented.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Lindemann, second by Councilmember Morales. Any discussion on this item? Very good. Roll call.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewish?
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries. Sorry.
In order for the mayor and council of the city of Los Angeles County, Arizona, to undertake a minor departmental reorganization affecting various departments along with city management and amending ordinance number 631, 673, 728, 848, 04-871, 09-954, 13-1027, 18-1086, and ordinance 19-1104, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Mrs. Pedrosa, I do have a question, and that's what I meant, and I apologize for interrupting. This takes effect, and you can just answer it from there. When does this take effect?
30 days.
30 days, okay, thank you. Item number 15, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1358, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, CDBG 5-year consolidated plan and annual action plan for fiscal year 2019. Mrs. Gonzalez?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council and staff. City of Douglas is entering into its second 5-year cycle as the CDBG entitlement community. The CDBG grant requires a consolidated plan for every 5-year cycle, as well as an annual action plan for every year of that cycle be prepared and submitted to HUD for approval.
We have a motion to approve.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Hewish?
move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1358.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Morales. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I'm sorry, Ms. Gonzalez, would you mind just outlining what's on the agenda for this upcoming for the public? For anyone else interested?
Councilman Hewish, members of the council, absolutely. For this 5-year funding cycle of the consolidated plan, the city is proposing the following projects. For the first year, we're proposing a product center facility improvement. For the second year, citywide new infrastructure to include sidewalks, curbing, and ADA ramps. For the third year of the funding cycle, sewer line improvements. For the fourth year, library expansion, and ADA improvements at the library. And for the fifth year of the cycle, Joe Covey Park community recreation improvements.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The dehumidifying system for the aquatic center,
Yes.
how extensive is that going to be? Is that I've been told that it doesn't smell very good in there, especially in the restrooms and things like that. I was wondering, will that help with the whole air supply, do you think?
Mr. Lindeman, I can't say for sure, but I know that the main purpose of the dehumidifying system is to get that moisture out, and so that the metal and all the different things inside the aquatic center do not get filled with moisture. So it just rusts the entire facility, and it also makes it very muggy to be in there. So that is the main function of it. It may alleviate the problems in the bathroom, but I can't say for sure.
That was just a comment brought to me by Ms. Rivers. I also was wondering, the new pump system, is that for the aquatic center also?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, we're looking at getting ahead of it because it's already close to 20 years. So it's time to look at replacing that. Although it's not giving us all the issues that the H3 pump gives us, but I think it's time to do that, and also put a roof on that pump to protect it from the elements.
And finally, the kiddie pool over there, it needs redoing and on the floor. Is that involved in this, or can that be part of this?
No, sir.
No.
That wasn't one of the expenses included.
That's maintenance and would not qualify for this grant.
Okay.
So they like to see replacements, new things, so it wouldn't qualify.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lindeman. I do have a question.
Go ahead, no, you go ahead.
I wanted to ask Ms. Gonzalez. Right here it says that the deadline is August 16th, and how long have we known about, what's the earliest we can submit this grant? Because, 2 days before kind of seems like, we're playing on dangerous, especially for a grant for free money. So could we have done this beforehand, maybe last month, or we had a special meeting, maybe bring it up during those times? Because it's too close for comfort for me when the deadline is 2 days from now.
Yes, Councilman Grijalva. The city did know about this deadline prior to. The issue was because of the change in administration and all of the upheaval. The projects that had been requested from all of the city departments weren't submitted in a timely manner. And so that kind of cut into the time that we had to allow for the public review and comment period. And so I do realize we are playing it, really, really close to the flame, but this was as soon as that we could get it submitted to allow for the public review and comment period.
This happens many times with school districts. They always, at the last moment, so this is nothing unusual. Okay, I've seen this happen many times. Right?
Thank you for that, Mr. Shelton.
If I may add, we also could have probably increased the time frame, but we knew the regular meeting was here. We had those 2 days. We could have probably called for a special meeting, but we had the days planned out, and we knew that we'd be safe. We double checked with the agencies on the date, but you're right, it's close, but we planned it out this way as best we could.
Mrs. Gonzalez, my question here, well, first I do want to congratulate you and Ms. Smith for submitting a successful grant in which we have an awesome playground, and that's through the CDBG grant, so congratulations on that. My question here is it possible for us to add an actual canopy for the playground? I strongly recommend that we do, and I do want us to protect the equipment. They're expensive, and that's just my recommendation. I'm not sure if that is doable.
Mr. Mayor, actually, glad you asked that question because we are still working with year 5 of the existing funding plan. Year 5 was supposed to be money allocated for the new community center, and as Dina mentioned earlier, that funding, we could not make it, compatible with the funding that the Army National Guard was, had it allotted for improvements to that building. So really that funding was not gonna be functional for the community center. So we need to reallocate those funds, and actually we're gonna be recommending to reassess those funds for that particular purpose. Is to place a canopy on the recreation, on the new playground, to also fix a pump system at the 8th Street pool. So, 8th Street Park improvements is what we're looking at, doing. Just depending on cost and what we can afford, those are the two pressing items that we will be recommending to reuse those funds for.
Congratulations, thank you again for what you did. Thank you. Roll call?
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Linderman?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Yes, motion carries. Item number 16, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1359, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, Section 8 Management Assessment Program certification for fiscal year 2019. For that, we have Mrs. Gonzalez back again at the podium.
Good evening once again. The City of Douglas Housing Authority received federal funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. One of the requirements of this program is to perform an annual self-assessment. We score ourselves on 14 functional areas. We submit our assessment to HUD for review, and then they score our agency based on what is submitted.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Hewish?
Move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1359.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Shelton. Any discussion? Roll call?
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember
Yes.
Shelton? Councilmember Hewish?
Yes.
Councilmember Linderman?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 17, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1360, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the city of Douglas to apply for the Sheriff's Assistant Grant application for funding for cleanup of the Coronado Lakes. And for that, we have Mr. Pedrosa.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, you may recall there was an article in the paper about areas of citizens getting together to clean up that area in the Coronado Lake, the state area. They did a lot of cleanup there, and basically since it's a county area, they are asking the county for some funding assistance to help pay for those costs, and basically it's a backhoe service that they had arranged to pick up some of that trash. They came to the city because the city could apply for those grants on behalf of these citizens. So we're basically a fiduciary or pass-through agency applying for this grant on their behalf so that they can pay this invoice for the backhoe service.
May I have a motion to approve?
Mayor, I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1360.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Linderman, second by Councilmember Morales. Any discussion?
And just for Mr. Mayor, for the public's information, it's outside our city limits, and so if that could be addressed on the reasoning and how the benefit will benefit all of us.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Yes, that's correct, Mr. Hughes. It's outside of the city limits. I mean, it's not affecting our community, you're right. All they did was ask for help because they needed an agency to be their applicant. They don't allow any particular individuals to apply for this grant, but the county said that they would help them, and they approached the city to apply on their behalf. And if the council wishes to do so, we can do that for you.
So based on what Councilman Shelton said earlier, they approached us rather than the school district because we could get it in on time? I'm just curious. That was the reason.
Not sure if it's on time, to be honest. Didn't see a deadline on the grant, so we need your authority to do any applications. This is as soon as we can get it to you in front of you, so we're here and hopefully they can help them out.
Roll call.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Vindelman?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales? Yes. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1361, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Corpus County, Arizona, authorizing the execution of a service agreement renewal between the city of Douglas and the Southeastern Arizona Government Organization, SEGO, to be used in the transit program to maintain services for elderly and disabled individuals in the city of Douglas and surrounding community. Mr. Pedrosa?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, we've been working with SEGO on this partnership since 2012, since we started our transit services. Basically, we applied for this proposal to provide services to our aging population and disabled population. We provide the services free of charge, and SEGO partners with us and gives us this grant amount on an annual basis. So this year we applied again and received the sub-award. This year it decreased by $1,000, but we'll be awarded $40,500 to operate this service for our elderly and aging population.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Hewish?
Move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1361.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Morales. Any comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Hewish?
If I may, is this a curb-to-curb service type of thing, this particular program?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hewish, yes it is. It's called the Dial-A-Ride program. Those that qualify based on the disability or the age requirement get a card that they just show whenever they're going to ride the bus. So it qualifies for both the Dial-A-Ride, which is to their home and to their desired location within the city, as well as the route that runs through town, through Midtown, Myrtleville, and Bay Acres, and even the Cochise Connection now. We're also offering that service on the Cochise Connection route.
Thank you.
Mr. Grijalva?
I wanted to ask really quick, was there any reasoning why they decreased the funding by that much, and is the city going to incur those costs? We're going to come out of the budget to make up for what we lost there?
Mr. Grijalva, no reasoning. It's just dependent upon how much funding they receive, and they have just funding formulas each year established. Nothing that we did wrong or penalized for doing anything. What this does is we use this as our matching amount for our federal grant. So basically, whenever we partner with other agencies to help us support to provide transit in the community, those monies apply to the matching portion of the grant obligation that we have with the federal government. So it just reduces it a bit. We have to make it up somewhere through cost reduction, or we might get a little bit more grant funding for our matching from other agencies.
Thank you, Mr. Pedrosa. By the way, I've seen an increase, and obviously now that we have back to school with public transportation, I just want to thank SEGO for extending the transportation over to the surrounding cities. And thank you for wearing many hats. I know that you also oversee that department there. So it's great. I'm happy that that this program is going to continue. Hopefully, yeah. Thank you. Roll call.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Stewart?
Yes.
Councilmember Vindelman?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carried.
Let's go to the next.
Just a moment, Mr. Clemens. Item number 19. on approval of resolution number 19-1362, a resolution of the Mayor and Council of the City of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the city manager to execute an extension of the license agreement entered between Arizona Army National Guard, AANG, and the City of Douglas for operation and management of the shooting range while negotiating with AANG and the Bureau of Land Management for a more permanent arrangement for the facility. Mr. Flores.
Thank you very much, Mayor, members of the council. This particular item has been a bit overdue, and I won't mention the school district or anybody else, but the current license agreement that we have with the Arizona National Guard for us to manage the shooting range dates back to 1986. It expired in 2001. There was various efforts over the years to try to renew that license agreement. Those failed due to basically lost interest on the part of the Arizona National Guard as we would transition in new colonels and new generals that manage the area. Now, it is foremost on the list of things to do with the Arizona National Guard. They would like to get it off their books temporarily. We're working right now with BLM in conjunction with the Arizona National Guard in order to attain some more permanent arrangement in terms of either a long-term lease or a permitting process that could potentially lead to an outright congressional gift as a shooting park to the city of Douglas. Make a long story short, since it expired in 2001, we've been going on a month-to-month basis. The Arizona National Guard wants to formalize the agreement, transform it from a license into a lease, and have it year to year while we work with BLM in partnership with the Arizona National Guard for a more permanent arrangement. And I would ask that council follow the administrative recommendation, which is let's go ahead and do it while we work for a more solid and permanent arrangement.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Hewish.
Move that the Mayor and Council approve resolution number 19-1362.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewish, second by Councilmember Morales. Any comments from council? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewish?
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Motion carries. Item number 20, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1363, a resolution of the Mayor and Council of the City of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, approving the final City of Douglas Municipal Airport Master Plan update. Mr. Pedrosa.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the City of Douglas received a grant a few years back from the Aeronautics Division in ADOT, about $250,000 to update its airport master plan, which had not been updated since 1994. Through that process, we hired consultants to develop this master plan and get stakeholders involved and produce a plan for multi-uses of our airport and addressing the deficiencies within the airport and just taking into account different funding sources, and as well include a business plan for us to have and use as we continue to manage the airport. This document was approved and ratified by the members of that committee back in 2017. It's something that we didn't take to Mayor and Council, but we should have. We should have formally adopted this document. It came to light now that we're actually proposing uses for the airport and actually wanting to put this document to use and use the recommendations within the document for our airport. And it also came to light that we most likely, I'm not saying for sure, will get awarded $1.8 million from Aeronautics Division this year for the reconstruction of the runway. So with land use, with grants coming in, we think it's a good idea for the council to ratify this and implement it as official document and policy, and so that we can follow it. We're also developing a 5-year capital improvement plan that we have to turn into ADOT every year, requesting these needs, and it mirrors exactly what the recommendations of the master plan are. And just thought I'd mention that the grant that we received for 1.8, that's just phase 1 actually. So the reconstruction will actually cost close to $3 million. We thought we parceled it out within 2 phases, which we thought would increase our chances of getting the funding. Instead of asking for a large lump sum, we said let's break it out, and once they see us utilizing the funding, we have a pretty good chance of completing phase 2. So that's going to be $1.8 million, and probably around $900,000 will be phase 2. As mentioned, adopting the sales tax starting September allows that extra collection of 1 month, which we will be recommending that we utilize that revenue for our matching component for this particular grant. So $1.8 million, we have a 10% match, which equates to $180,000. So collecting that extra sales tax, extra month in sales tax will levy about $145,000, which almost covers that entire matching component. So it's great. Things are actually falling into place. We're actually implementing this document, and as funding is coming our way, so it's exciting that we can get these improvements going.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Hewitt?
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1363.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewitt, second by Councilmember Shelton.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I just want to point out, we're not voting on using that extra month of the sales tax.
No.
At this point in time, just so the public knows that we're just voting on the resolution for adopting this master plan, which is critical to the furtherment and betterment and economic development of our community.
That's correct. Any other comments from council?
I just wanted to mention, I think when we get grants, like this, I think it's, maybe for future, bring it up to council, let it go on us, because, 2 years of this just sitting, like you said, I know now we're moving, but, this could have been something could have been building up, so maybe, for future, put the heat on us, to vote on something like this, and, Mr. Pedrosa, when we went to, one of the mayors and, city managers luncheon, there's a lot of support for all the airports around our territory here. So it's not just talking about us. We'll have the support for BDIN, this one. All the airports around us for from support from Service and all of them. So, but this is a step forward, and I thank you for moving along with this.
Thank you, Mr. Grijalva. And the master plan grant was brought to council. It was just awarded. I think it was awarded back in 2013, 2014, around that time. This new one for 1.8 million, we've been unofficially told that most likely we're going to get it. So that I want to make that clear that it's not official yet. And
but you kind of made it just official.
We'll make it official with council action once we get the award letter. But we've been told on the phone, are you able to accept the grant?
Wow.
So we're almost there, but not quite until it's official.
Thank you, Mr. Pedrosa. Any other comments? Roll call.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewitt?
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 21, discussion decision on approval of resolution number 19-1364, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, lease agreement with Southwest Valley Constructors for the use of land at the Douglas Municipal Airport. Mr. Villosa?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, we had seen this item in the last meeting. Due to funding for this project not getting approved through the courts, it fell through, but now the project is back on. Basically, Southwest Valley Constructors will be extending the border wall, building that east of town, and are in need of land in order to establish a batch plant where they'll be basically making concrete, cement in order to do this construction. We were also not certain on the terms at last time's meeting. There was still terms about the sewer and the city being able to deliver that service. It's still not certain, so we decided to just completely take that off of the lease agreement. So the way that we're going to be servicing them is through septic tanks that they'll be bringing in, and we'll just be pumping those out on a regular basis as needed. Of course, charging for that service, we will charge them the $115.50 that we charge for 1,000 gallons of sludge that gets pumped, and alongside a $50 transportation fee that is not in your packet, but we thought it was important because we will be taking our vacuum truck out to the site, something that we don't do for other customers, so we'll be adding that $50 fee. So the land lease is basically for use of land at the airport. We'll be charging them $15,000 a month for them to occupy the space. What they required was water service. We provided that water service. There's ready access into the airport so that they don't access it through the runway side, through the taxiway. So they'll be accessing through a road that they're gonna grade and clean up. So we make sure that the runways don't get disturbed. Back to the sewer. The sewer is still an ongoing negotiation. They are very open to helping us with cost in establishing that sewer, and in doing so, we are able to, if we are able to get some assistance in paying for the sewer, the nearest connection point is in Van Buren Avenue. So that's about 3,200 feet away, 3,200 feet of line, and along the way, we may be able to connect houses on 9th Street that do not have sewer. The only section within the city limits that does not have sewer service. So it could be community benefit as well if we're able to get this sewer service, of course, but it's all dependent on the federal contractor's willingness to help us pay for this, because we just don't have the budget right now to install that line. We've also said that, making those with the revenue received for $15,000 a month, which we expect at least 12 months to 18 months on the lease, we recommend to place this funding for small capital items that basically were in the CIP but did not get funded just due to lack of funding, and also one-time expenditures such as training that's come up, and other certifications that were not in the budget that just come up through the normal course of business, and we need to pay for those things. So basically, one-time expenses and capital items is what we're looking to fund with this item, as well as applying this money towards the reconstruction of the runway matching amount as well. So, with $3 million grant total, we could set this money aside to pay for the $300,000 match after phase 2 is completed. So that's kind of the plan moving forward if this lease gets approved.
Mr. Newman?
Excuse me, Mr. Villosa. I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 19-1364.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Lindemann and second by shouting Councilmember Shelton. And any discussion? Mr. Hewish?
One question regarding the grading and clearing of 15 acres. Is there a disposal site out there for that organic material, or will they be hauling it to the transfer station, and are they paying for it?
Yes, they'll be paid for those costs. One of the ideas out there was, if they wanted to save money, was to chop that up into nice, movable pieces and putting it out. I mean, the community uses that, and there's been interest on that. That's good mesquite that people can use for their barbecues or, so it's been suggested. I'm not sure if not, but they're expected to clean up after themselves for sure.
Okay, so that's, thank you. Any other comments?
Is that in the agreement? They clean it up, okay.
There's an environmental section there that they must comply with.
Okay, you said they're gonna do cement. Are they gonna have their own cement there, or are they gonna get it from Maddox?
They're making their own cement.
They're making their own. Wow, okay.
And by the way,
They're not gonna be using ours, and then, like, if they need supplies, go to B&D.
Of course.
And why don't you recommend, type them a little letter and say that.
yes, sir. Actually, last time we said there were going to be 200 laborers here. That number has gone up to 350 laborers.
Well,
Actually working here and living here in Douglas. So those people are going to be eating at restaurants, buying groceries, doing, contributing to the economy. So, and then add on top of that about 50 office staff that will be on site.
so we're talking maybe 400 people?
400 people working here, contributing for a period of at least a year.
Oh, I was hoping.
Year to 18 months. And we've made those recommendations. We've already done that. We've recommended local services, local realtors,
Well,
I wanted to really quick, and you outlined here, that there could be an extension, a 6-month extension to it. I know you mentioned wall, but, I mean, from what I'm getting here, it's extra income with the lease and also jobs, so. That's all I heard. I know that, political differences aside, everything that you just said helps Douglas move forward, so, very good to hear.
roll call.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hewitt?
Yes.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes.
Councilmember Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
I'm going to take this time to explain my vote. I see this as an opportunity for us to, well, first of all, let me just say that I'm a strong proponent of securing the border. I believe that it is important that we secure our border. I just have this issue that in a snap of a finger we can just drop so much money for this wall, but on the other side we have to spend countless money for us to try to secure for the country. And having to look at both of these issues as I'm hearing the impact that this is going to have in our community. Now, here's what I see, because I'm a person that I make my decisions based in the city's best interest, considering the fact that I've always opposed the building of the wall, and we can use ways of securing our country in different ways. But here I see close to 400 federal agents, and I see economic development. I see small businesses being supported by the amount of agents, people coming to Douglas, and I'm struggling right now just to see how this border wall is going to help us keep our country safer. But I'm thinking about those people like Mrs. Kramer that was here. I see Mr. Studer here, medics, and I'm seeing the impact this is going to have in our community. So I have to take my political party aside, and I'm going to have to vote in favor of that. So my vote is yes. Item number 22, informational items and reports of council and future agenda item requests.
Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, I have an informational item.
All right, Mr. President.
We can call it that. On July 20th, the Boy Scouts of America, the Catalina Council, and Mrs. Sheila Foraker invited Councilman Grijalva and myself to judge their Pinewood Derby fundraiser contest, which is really well put on and was fine. I must commend them, of course. And to our amazement, our Douglas car won. First place. So, we won the Mayor's Cup. How about that? And I want to thank the Boy Scouts and Mrs. Foraker and putting on a good show. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I just would like to clarify, I mentioned here a meeting or two ago regarding the yard sale permits, and my concern, just wanted to clarify my concern with the matter. The matter of concern is that it's taking staff time to issue these permits. I don't know if there's an electronic way to issue those permits or any of those type of functions that would help relieve staff from having that burden of issuing permits. Not that I'm against yard sales or anything like that, but just want to clarify that so staff can mull that over. And if it, I don't know if it needs to come to council, but that's what I was referring to.
Okay. Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I just want to make an announcement that Mr. Shelton and I are planning another town hall on May the 17th at 6 o'clock, so you could help us spread the word. And September. May, oh my God. Mr. Shelton got me all confused. No, September 17th, it's a Tuesday at 6 p.m. And again, I just want to remind everyone, if I'm going to be contacting businesses, and Damien is being very helpful too. He's contacting businesses to let me know when you reach those milestones, because we want to acknowledge the businesses at the council meeting. So if I am not able to reach you, please contact Damien at the city here, and we want to start doing more of this. Thank you.
Mr. Shelton?
I know several people have brought up the thing of people just parking in their yards, and it's becoming a problem. Even going down 10th Street, you might have 2 or 3 cars in the yard. It's dirt now, and it just looks, so I think we need to look into that situation and do what we need to do to have them follow what's in the charge. Okay, I agree.
Mr. Grijalva?
I was just going to mention really quick, next week we have a conference, and the majority of council is going to go and participate in it to build, relationships with businesses and other cities. I think it's important for us that for the next meeting we all come with a report on what we did, so to show our constituents how, what we're doing, how we're representing them, and what businesses and relationships we're trying to build here in Douglas. So just a suggestion, next meeting, the ones that go, we should be prepared to tell our constituents how we're spending their money.
Anyone else? On the border wall vote, one addition that I forgot to add to that is that I do hope that the President sees this bipartisan commitment from a border community, and I do hope that us voting here tonight unanimously to approve what he perceives as securing the border, that we do secure funding for our port of entry. And that's the message that we should be promoting. That tonight we took an effort not just to secure our country, but also to help small businesses, to welcome people, to educate those that haven't been to this amazing border community, what the border really looks like. So I just wanted to compliment what I missed on my last comment as to why I voted in favor of this proposal. In addition, I do agree that it's important for us, once we come back and leave the cities, that we come back with an actual report on what we did. Back in 2016, when I attended my first AUC, I remember I sat in the back of the conference. This year, I mean, and in between times 2016, I can go back and take a nap. This year, I was literally in every setting, networking, talking about city justice. So it's very different the time makes. So I expect to have the same type of, I believe it's the same type of activity. So I won't keep you guys here anymore, but today was a great day. I'm proud to be working alongside you council members, and thank you for making tough decisions. God bless you all. With that being said, you may have a motion to adjourn item 23. Yes,
Mayor, I move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second. Motion by Councilmember Morales, second by Councilmember Shelton. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.